Alright, and welcome back to the channel, everybody, and I hope you're doing fine. So finally I can show you the result from my Army on Parades competition. Now keep in mind that was just for my local games workshop, and we had a total of 4 entries, which was nice. For Warhammer 40k there were 2 entries, and Age of Sigmar there were 2 entries as well. But keep in mind it's all the same category, so it doesn't really matter. Now, as you can see, there are not that many minis here. Because, yeah, I had a 2k point army in mind, and it got less, and it got less, and it got less. Yeah, with some of them I'm quite pleased, and with some of them I'm like, yikes. Now, we're gonna have a few close-ups of the single units. Then we're gonna put everything together with the diorama. If you didn't see that yet, we're gonna put that somewhere in the top right corner, I think, and also in the description below if you're interested in that. And then we're gonna have a look at our competition. Now, keep in mind, this is of course hobby level, right? So everybody participating is just trying to have some fun, getting the army together. And there were actually some really cool ideas. So I'm really happy. There was quite the finale at the end, and it got really close between the first 2 places. I'm not gonna jinx it yet, obviously. And then at the end, I also wanna criticize a little bit my attempt for Army on Parades. And what I will do this year, so 2024, I'm gonna participate again for Armies on Parade. And I will even try to, because sure, this right here is like, some of the minis are nice, but they are not really top competition level. But I would like to participate in the real Armies on Parade and send in pictures to Games Workshop. And of course, I will not win. But it might be fun to participate and see, hey, how we will do. But that will be a different video, and I have already a few ideas. So I would say we get started with some close-ups. Okay, and let's start with my favorite mini of this army, and that is Mibble or Darkfang. As you can see, she has a typical green-blue color scheme that I went with my army, with the frost effect. And yeah, with the base, I think I went a little bit overboard with all the eyes. Most of it is 3D printed. And I'm really happy with the ice formation at the bottom and the ice spells coming from her hand.
Kann man den dann in Österreich sehen?
Den kann man in Österreich sehen, den kann man auf der ganzen Welt sehen.
Echt?
Ja, echt.
Wenn du den ins Internet stellst.
Ja, ich stelle den ins Internet.
Jetzt kann ihn noch niemand von der Welt sehen.
Ja, das stimmt.
Okay, and that was my 5-year-old asking a few questions. My kids always try to help me with, you know, my videos. I like to include them in my hobby. I think that is nice. Right here we have Eternus, our custom built Eternus with quite some modifications. And we made a video about him already, so I'm not gonna go into too much detail. But I think with Mibble and Eternus, I have some nice centerpieces. Next up, my Chaos Knights. I'm also pretty happy with those. As you can see, I tried to make a little bit of a frost weapon there with his hammer. I'm not super happy with that one. I like the armor. I absolutely adore the horns. So the bone effect is definitely winning here. And then we have our standard bearer. And I'm really happy with the whole corrosion effect on the minis. And as you can see, I also painted the belt and stuff like that. So I'm really happy that I did not assemble them before painting, because that would have been a pain in the butt. Especially with the shields already being part of the mini and not a separate item. The regular dudes, honestly, I tried to get a little bit of variation, so you can see some brown horses, light brown horses, you can see some black horses, so it gives the unit a little bit more pop on the table. Also, the varnish that I used is very matte, so not glossy at all, and it kinda dulls down the colors. I will not use this varnish again, because a lot of edge highlighting got completely lost on this one. I'm happy with the gold that I painted there. Again, the frost blue, the cold blue. Painting the eyes in the helmet was a pain in the butt though. And then finally we have our musician. I'm again happy with the horns. I'm happy with the green cloth on it. And again, the tiny runes, the blood on the head. It's the tiny details that give this unit some life. And you can also see, if you look closely, that the chainmail has some copper pieces to mimic damage or maybe replaced parts. Now, my Variant Guards, this is the first unit that I painted for Army on Parade, and I'm not happy with those. First of all, I tried the edge highlighting with the gold with a yellow and not a silver, which is already kind of weird. And I tried to create my own icicles, and they are, let's not talk about them. So I want to make a video, because I found already a solution for that, how you can make really nice icicles that you can attach to your minis. I hope I can do this the next couple months. I'm gonna do it with this unit here, because this is just, some of them are bent and I'm not happy. The color theme, again, I like it. Also the leather stripes that I painted and everything, happy with that. The teeth on the horse are nice. They just feasted on something. Not super happy with the cloth part here, especially with the third one. That is just, yeah. Keep in mind, this is always competition painting, so I usually run out of time, and I had like so much more I wanted to do with them, and I just could not make it. And then we have this magnificent beast here, our Vortex beast. That was a bitch to paint because of all the layering that I had to do there. And now you're probably like, wait, where's the Vortex? Well, this is some feedback from my kids. They're like, wait, that thing doesn't have any eyes. How does it hunt? How does it eat? It's gonna starve if it cannot hunt. And I'm like, you know that this is a mutation, right? It kills people. And they're like, yeah, probably, but it's still cute. And I'm like, okay. And that's why the thing has a custom printed eye. And then we have some Marauder Horsemen. That was the second unit that I painted, so you can see already a little bit of progress that I made from the Variant Guards. I'm super happy with that one. The Marauder Horsemen, they look kinda goofy, but it was a nice unit to paint like skin and get a little bit of practice there. It's still rough around the edges, but for first try, I'm super happy with this one. And I love the eyes of the horses because they're super easy to paint. And as you can see already, we have some black horses, we have some light brown ones, we have some... They go a little bit into a blue, my dark ones, and I'm not happy with the varnish that I used here because it's way too glossy. So as you can see, this whole Army on Parade thing was also a quest to finding the right varnish. I have one now that I'm happy with. And again, I try to get as much variety in this unit as possible. So different leather colors, different horse colors, different hair colors. That helps a lot. One thing that I did not do and that I will try next time is to have maybe some black skin or tanned skin. Right now it's just one skin tone because I wanted to practice that one. And definitely something I want to spice up my minis next time. I have another unit of 5 that will join these 5, and then I have a unit of 10. And as you can see here, for example, I went with a very bright light brown leather type. It's also very basic, so I didn't paint the leather effect that I did with other minis. It's just edge highlighting. Okay, so now we went through all the close-ups for a little bit, and I have to say I'm actually pretty pleased with my Chaos Knights. I'm also pleased with Mibelor, my Chaos Sorceress. I'm also very pleased with Eternus, and I'm pleased with the Vortex Beast. The Marauder Horsemen, they are nice. I'm happy with them. They are a little bit too glossy because of the varnish. The Chaos Knights, they're not glossy enough. It's weird because they have a very matte varnish on them that I tried, and it really took out the pop from the colors. So yeah, that was great. I'm absolutely not happy with my Variant Guards. They were the first attempt. They look okay. I can play with them. And I think I don't have to hide them, but we really need to do a new video where we get some nice icicles on them, because the ones that they have right now, they're not that great. They were a first attempt and they actually look like trash. Okay, now I would say we put everything together. Why is this so heavy? Whoa, 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 careful, careful, careful. Yep, it's as heavy as it looks. Okay, then. Okay, let me get rid of that. Up. Like that. Woo! Okay, not too bad. So what I'm trying to do now is to place them exactly as I placed them in the shop. Or roughly the same, let's put it that way. Okay, I don't know if I'm still in the frame here, but I will just talk a little bit here about this and how I presented it and my idea behind it. So the idea of the whole thing is like a fluff army. The army coming from the north and bringing the frost and destruction. You can see it. Over here we have only rocks and stone left and everything is freezing. And here's the land of the living, or hopefully soon to be dead ones. And you can see we have like some green, some leaves and everything. You get the theme of it pretty quickly. And it was really nice because I got some feedback that people actually understood the story of the piece. This is something that I personally think is very important, that your diorama has a story behind it, that people understand without you standing next to them and explaining what is actually going on. I'm not gonna lie, I know the flaws of this one, and sure, we need more for next time if we really want to participate in a games workshop. Army on Parade to really give it our best, even though we have no chances of winning, because I saw the entries from 2023 and yeah, okay everybody. But I do this for fun and I do this as a hobby. And I think it's important to, you know, get a little bit of feedback from people, and you only get feedback when people see your piece. Okay, so you saw now the whole piece. There's definitely something I want to talk at the end. But first, let's have a look at the competition. Now, before we go through this, just one more time. This is people doing it for a hobby, for fun, not for actually going to Games Workshop and compete against the best of the best, okay? Just some dudes having some fun. But honestly, for some dudes having some fun, this guy here went pretty hard, if I dare say so. I absolutely love the colors that he picked. And this is exactly what I was lacking. The contrast between the diorama and the units. This magenta red is insane. The bases, honestly, they're simple, but they're getting the job done. And our friend here came with 2 amazing tanks and a lot of 3D printed stuff. The barricades, if I remember this correctly, are actually GW stuff. But the cathedral rune in the back, that is 3D printed. And I think the effect, I don't know if this is intentional by the way, of the molten steel beams is looking really, really cool. So I really love this army right here. I mean, just look at that thing here. Absolutely insane. It's like a cinder block of plastic crack. And we have more Space Marines. Right here we have these neon green ones. And again, you really have to go all out with your color theme, because if you just come with regular minis, I think it's difficult and you put yourself at a disadvantage. Now, to be fair, and I talked to the guy who made this piece, he knows that some of the minis are not completely painted. He ran out of time. I mean, this is probably the theme for everybody. But this guy brought one of his tabletop plates, and this is 1 out of, I think, 7 or 8. And sadly, I do not have a picture of it. But that thing here on the right, that's a fog machine. And in the plate itself, he can generate fog and it comes out of the vents. Like, absolutely insane. I sadly do not have a recording of this because I only took pictures. But just looking at it, it's wow. Also the fences, he made them himself. So he really got creative with his centerpiece. And it has always this wow effect when you have something special. He also had some glowing lights that you can see here. They're not switched on right now, but it gives the whole... Why practice OSL painting if you can just make the lights into the diorama, am I right? And having stuff like this can actually pull an audience, because it's a wow effect when you have the fog like go over the piece and you have the minis there. This guy right here was 3rd place, and the only reason why he didn't do better is because some of the minis were not completely painted. Which is a shame, because imagine this guy would have had more time to finish his minis with that color scheme. That would have been a brutal competition. And then we have another Age of Sigmar army here. Well, Nurgle, right? So I just love chaos. But this is what I mean with people are doing this for fun. This is your generic Warhammer plate that you can buy and paint. And by all means, I do not want to trash talk the guy. You painted an army, and any army that is finished and painted and is on the board is awesome. I think my favorite right here are actually the little Nurglings and the snail on the back, because it has so many cute little details. I think the goal of this army was also to get it done and play with it and not paint it on the highest level possible. Because checking out the Great Unclean one, it's mostly done with an airbrush, which is not bad, don't get me wrong. The whole thing is mostly done with an airbrush. Some people just want to get their armies done and play. And honestly, I said it already, but I'm gonna say it again. As long as you have a painted army on the table, it's a joy to play. And then you can see my army once more sitting here in the middle. Don't need to talk about that anymore because, well, you saw that already. Okay, so you saw now my piece, you saw the competition, you saw the close-up of all the minis, and now, final question, how did we do? Yeah, so really happy about that one. So we won, and I think it was 26 to 23 votes between my army and the Red Space Marines. So it was incredibly, like, way too close for comfort. So I think in total we have probably close to 500 hours in this piece. That includes all the learning of different techniques though, and all the looking up for crafting. So the pure painting time, if an experienced dude would do this, would be of course way less. We had a few minis that I'm actually pretty proud of, like Mibelor, that took maybe a little bit over 20 hours. Yeah, so that was not that much, but the whole layering on the Vortex Beast, like keep in mind the only thing that I did with the airbrush there was the very first base coat out of, I don't know, 7 or 8 layers. The Vortex Beast is probably close to almost 100 hours. Eternus is probably sitting somewhere at 60 to 70. The Chaos Knights were a nightmare because they are not very pleasant to build. So yeah, I think we're getting pretty close here to 500 hours something. With the next army on parade, I'm actually gonna track everything. Because I think it's interesting how long it takes somebody to create something like this. Now, let's talk about what we need to do differently next time. That is very important. First of all, this right here is not great. So that was, of course, if you watched the video, like more of a first aid solution there because I had different plans. So this needs to change. We need to work better with resin. Also the paint jobs. I mean, you can see it already from the Varanguards to my Vortex Beast and to my Chaos Knights that there is a jump in skill. Which, oh my god, after painting hundreds of hours, you would hope for a little bit of increase in skill. It's still far away from, you know, we're not gonna win any Slayer Sword or Golden Demon, but, you know, improvement, and that's nice. The stuff that I wanted to learn with this project, like leather, the frost bases, some layering, and especially bones and horns, I think I accomplished that to a level to put it on a table and people are just like, that's nice. I'm not gonna say no to every time I'm giving myself a little bit of praise that sure there's room for improvement, because you know that. And I think what I really have to work on, like the color theme. I like it. It looks amazing, in my opinion, but it does not fit with the piece here. It just does not work really. Why? Because what I liked about the Red Space Marine one was the minis really popped in contrast to the piece that they were standing on. Right here, everything is kind of blending together, which, you know, in real life you actually want it, that your army is blending together. But for a miniature painting contest, I think that was a mistake. So I will definitely go with some crazy colors, and I have already an idea for that one, with my 2024 army. And then I will just have, yeah, a ruined city, something dark in the background, and I go with like orange and maybe bright greens, maybe some red, to have the contrast so the minis pop way more on the table. Also, the placement was not ideal because in the store, and this might sound stupid now, but first impression is everything. When people go into the store, they came from this side. And the first thing that they see, it's not Eternus, it's not Mibelor, it's not the Vortex Beast, well, the Vortex Beast, you see it, whatever. But you focus on the minis that are close to you. So it's the Marauders and it's also the Varanguards. And the Varanguards, they are, in comparison to Eternus, they're a piss poor job, okay? I should have really, like, at least have redone the icicles, which I still want to do in a future video and just pimp them up a little bit more. And also the paint job. The gold is not that great. The horses are kinda okay. And that is also something that you have to consider next time, or that I have to consider next time. The arrangement of the minis on the table. That people actually see the centerpieces first, so the next time I'm gonna arrange it in the shop, that will be different. Okay, and I think there's way more. We're gonna talk about that in one of the next videos where I show you my idea for 2024. Now I would like to give you some close-up shots, because I didn't do that yet. And then you can have a little bit of a nice montage outro. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, you know, everybody has to beg nowadays. A like would be nice, subscription would be nice. I know I'm not uploading that much, but we're also gonna do a video about that for the plans of 2024, and it's gonna be awesome. And with that, let's roll the outro. Alright, and that's it for today. Finally, I could finish this video. It's super late right now. It's like 2 AM, just recording the outro right now. I hope you enjoyed the video. I know for 2024 I have to do more single parts and not just like one painting, one crafting, and then the summary at the end. And that is even late. Mea culpa. We have to work on that. Then, as always, big shout out to my patrons. Thank you for supporting me over at Patreon. It's much appreciated. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching. 2024 is hopefully gonna be a great year for this channel. I see you in the next one. Until then, have a good day and bye bye.